Hey y'all, it's your girl Miss G, and you know what time it is. It's G time. It's time to get up, get active, and get it together. My purpose is to give advice, encourage change, and empower success. The goal is for us to grow, elevate, and excel. Everyday action is required for change, and you have the power to create change. I am live today. It's been a while since I've been able to record and come to you and do a video and put it on the podcast. I'm still here, y'all. I'm still here. But as many of you know, my life has changed. I am now the proud mom of four beautiful, intelligent, healthy, smart, great, awesome children. And as you can see, my co star here, she right here. She is with Mama 24/7. And it's been an adjustment to find time to be creative and do the creative things that I love to do on top of, what I have to do. I love my work. I love my children. I love the things that I get to do. And so this is a bonus. Being able to record, being able to do videos, it's a bonus. And so sometimes I have to sacrifice that bonus to get done what needs to get done. But always putting them first because that's just what I do. That's who I am and that's what's going to be. But I'm here today, co-star and all. We here. And we here to talk to y'all on this Friday. I saw a quote today on social media. And it's a quote that I talked about before. But I'm like, you know what? Let's dig a little deeper. Let's dive a little deeper. Let's go a little further in this quote. Fake it till you make it. Have you ever heard that saying? Fake it till you make it, girl. Let's just fake it till you make it. I was one who believed in that saying for a long time. I lived it like, you know what, just fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. I know we don't have it together right now, but I'm just going to fake it till I make it. Until there was no more faking. Until it just gets to be just the same. It's just, I'm not getting nothing done. I'm just faking it. I'm faking that things are getting done. And so I started doing some more research into this whole phrase of fake it till you make it. And it kind of falls in line to those toxic positivity phrases that just get under my skin, that I cringe every time I hear somebody say, right? Oh, just think positive things and positive things will happen in your life. Okay, something in my eye. Think positive and things will be positive. I can't stand that. I really just can't stand it. I feel like you using these phrases like if you think positive, positive things will happen, it becomes a not a and but not a either or. Yeah, well, like a either or. Like you either be sad about your problems or you think positive about your problems. Instead of you can be sad and still think positive, right? You can be upset, annoyed, frustrated, disappointed, and still find a positive aspect or a positive factor in your situation. It doesn't have to be a either or. No, don't be sad, just be positive. Well, the body is real funny, right? We are able to experience multiple emotions and feelings at the same time. Our body can do many things. We don't have to just be positive and ignore the fact that we're facing tragedy or crisis or sadness and we're upset, we're disappointed. We don't have to ignore those things. We don't have to avoid those things. Process it. And then let's utilize this healthy relaxation tool of having of doing a gratitude journal. Let's have an attitude of gratitude after we have processed what we're going through. We can do both. And so I feel like one of those phrases of fake it till you make it kind of avoids the bad parts. It avoids the difficulties. It says, you know what, let's be an imposter to what's going on around us. Let's pretend like we're not going through things and let's just get up every day, put on a face that we're not facing hardships, go out into this world and fake it. Okay, and then what? I think many of us have become great at faking it. We put on our makeup, we put on our clothes for the day, we get out there and we're like, hello, how are you? How you doing today? Oh, I'm great. How are you? Oh, yes, everything is wonderful. The kids are doing great. Husband is well. Yeah, oh, I love my job. Yes, I do. And then we go home, we're like, oh, my kids are getting on my nerve. They driving me crazy. This boy failing every subject. I don't know what to do with him anymore. She back talking. I'm like, who is this child? This man right here getting on my nerve. We can't stop arguing to save our life. I am struggling, struggling. But who do we tell that to? Do we have anybody to tell that to? Do we have safe people that we can actually expose the difficulties in our life to? Or do we go home and we faking it there too? Everything's going to be okay. I know you're failing every subject, but just get it together. Get it together. And don't you tell people that you're going through anything. Just get out there and make it better. Do something. Do what? What do I do? I don't know, but you better get it together. Well, if we're not giving them any healthy solutions, if we're not problem solving, if we're not facing the problem, then how do we get through it? Okay, the kid's failing every subject. You know what? Let's get up to this school and let's find a result. Let's find a solution. Maybe it's some tutoring. You agree with me? Yeah, I know. Let's get some tutoring done. Let's have a parent teacher conference with the teachers. What do you think is going on? Do we need to test them in some areas? Do we need to put a plan together? Maybe we need a 501. Is this what it's called? A 504, not a 5. I think a 501 is that's something else. We need a 504 plan. Maybe we need to again get our kid tested and see if there's some issues, some developmental issues, and then we get an IEP. See, we don't want to face problems because we don't want to admit that things are wrong. We feel guilty and we feel shame, like, oh no, that can't be what's going on with me. How many kids probably needed a 504 or IEP when they were in school because they were struggling every single year, and now they get to a point where they can't even graduate because they don't have the resources and they don't have the credits that they need because no one has ever identified that this child had a learning disability, that this child had a problem with development, with the developmental stages. And we don't want to say that because it makes us seem like something's wrong with us. Well, what's wrong with something being wrong with you? Are you trying to be perfect? Ooh, child, if you come into my office and we talk about being perfect, you will know that I'm going to send you right back out that door. Because there is no perfect people here in this office. And if you are looking for me, this black therapist, yes, if you are looking for me to give you a perfect solution, you have the wrong person. Because this word is a fantasy word. This word does not produce perfection. It produces greatness and excellence and goodness, and we can be better, and we can be the best at what we do, but we will never be perfect at what we do. I will still lose clients. I will still not be the right therapist for somebody. I will still not be the right friend for somebody. I will still not be the right person for whoever, because it doesn't mean that something's wrong with my skills and my abilities, but that we just don't mesh together. We don't work well together, and that's okay. It's when we're faking like, oh, I've been in therapy for a year with this therapist, and I really can't tell this therapist everything that's going on with me, but I don't want to say that out loud. I'm just pretending like everything is okay. We sitting here for a year and we ain't produced no results. No, no, no. That is not okay. What's the problem? Well, the problem is I really don't get a vibe. I don't really get a good vibe from you, and it's hard for me to tell you how I really feel because every time I say what I really feel, you kind of minimize it. Can we say that to someone? Don't fake it. Face it. Face the fact that we're not getting along too well and we need some help. Face when we're not getting the grades that we know our children aren't getting the grades that we know they're capable of. Let's go and sit down and face the problem. We want to ignore and avoid problems for so long, and it can stem from a long list of things. Not knowing how to face it, not knowing what to do, not having people to help us. It can be a lot of different reasons on why we choose not to face our problems. But today, on this Friday, let's tear down the toxic positivity phrases of fake it till you make it, and let's call it a face it Friday. Let's face it. I'm not saying go into your workplace and break down today because everything is going wrong in your life. But face it. Face it. You're going through some financial difficulties? Let's face it. Well, what do we need to do to get ourselves to a better place in life? Is it, do we need some more credentials or education? Do we need to expand our professional life so that we can get a better job that's going to pay us a little more so that we're not struggling as much financially? Now, let's with that being said, understanding that we are in a place in our life right now where everything's expensive, everything's high. Groceries are high, gas is high. We all just came out or coming through, going through, getting through this pandemic where we've had to change some of our finances. Let's face it. Let's face that things weren't where they were 2 years ago. Things weren't where they have been 5 years ago. We're in a different place in our life. Don't fake that we're going through financial problems. Face that we're going through financial problems. Let's get a CPA on the phone. Let's call somebody who we know is knowledgeable in finances. Rewind. Let's call someone who we know is knowledgeable in finances. I wanted to say that slower for you. Don't call someone who's in the same boat that you're in. Don't call someone who is worse off than you are and ask them for financial assistance and help. Call someone who is more financially stable, who has a more financial sound mind than you do, and say, hey, can I bother you for the next 10 minutes and kind of run past you some of my financial difficulties and seek some wise counsel from you on what I can do to get better in my finances? Someone who knows, not who doesn't know. All right, now that I had to say that 100 times, let's face the problem. We're having relationship issues. Our spouse, our husband, our wives, our girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, your spouse. Let's not continue to pretend like we're not doing well in our relationship. Let's get some help. Let's call some couples who have it together. Now, granted, we don't know if these couples are faking it or if they actually have it together and they can give us some advice, but we won't know until we actually seek the help. Now, there's a lot of couples out there faking like it's all good when it really isn't. So spend some time. Spend time with some couples that you feel have it together. And when I say have it together, that don't mean that they don't have problems. That means that they face their problems, and because they face their problems, they can get it together. See how that works? We faced that we had bad communication and we went and sought some help on how to effectively communicate with one another. And now that we know how to effectively communicate with one another, we utilize things like I statements. We do receptive listening. We actually face the problem instead of pretending like it wasn't a problem. So it's not that we're perfect in our relationship, but that we have the help and the resources needed so that when we get into these little spats and disputes, that we're able to have healthy skills and tools to work well with one another. That's what I mean by have it together. I don't mean people who present themselves to be all together and then behind closed doors they sleep in different rooms. No. I don't mean those people. I mean people who can actually tell you, like, you know what? We've gone through this before. Communication was an issue for us too. And so these are some tools that we learned. Let's sit down and let's talk. Let's talk together. Talk to someone, right? Sit down and expose the problems. What's going on in our relationship? Why are we struggling so much? Why are we so distant? Why don't we have a relationship that we both set out to have when we started this thing? We took these vows. We sat in front of all these people and we thought that this would be different. And now that we've done it, it's not where we want it to be. But it seems that we've been faking it for so long that we don't even know what the problems are. So maybe we need to sit down and talk about it. Let's talk about what our problems are. Have you ever heard the saying that you can't heal what you won't reveal? Well, if you won't expose the problems, how are you going to face it? That's why we're faking it, because we don't want to expose nothing. We don't actually want to talk about being in a difficult space and take accountability and responsibility for being where we are. We just want to fake it like it doesn't exist. Maybe when you talk to that person that's more financially sound than you are, they'll tell you that, you're spending a lot of money on takeout every weekend. And this is why you're in so much debt. You're not making sound financial decisions. You are spending more than you're making. You're going to listen to that person and you're like, nah, 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 nah. See, look, let me tell you, I need this. And then you're still in the same position. Well, they're like, well, I'm trying to give you some sound advice on how you can fix this financial problem, but are you willing to take it? Are you willing to do something different to get into a different position? Or are you going to keep doing the same thing? Because if you're going to keep doing the same thing, don't bother these people. Don't bother these people with sound minds that are going to give you the advice and give you some direction, and then you're going to go back and do the same thing. Wait until you're ready. That's another key part. Don't just go in saying, you know what, I want to make changes in my life and I'm going to find somebody that can help me. And then when they give you the help, be like, well, you know what, that's not really what I want to do right now. Don't waste their time. Wait until you're in a position where you're really ready to get the help. Because see, these people that you calling, you're not paying them. These are your friends and people from around the way. See, like if you were paying a trainer, you would show up to those sessions because you're paying for it. Like you pay when you show up to dinner, or when you pay when you go out to these like classes and things like that. Those things that you pay for, you put more time and energy in because it's coming out your pocket. But when it's your friends and your family and the people who love you and they're giving you this advice, you wasting their time because it really, you ain't have to pay for it. They're giving it to you. So again, wait till you're ready to really make these changes. Just like I said, you have the power to create change. Everyday action is required for change. Every day, do something different. Nobody's telling you to call somebody and ask about your financial problems and the next day you are a millionaire. That's not how it works. It takes steps. It's a process to these things. Do something different. Hey, I learned from this person that if I look at things in this area and take something from here and save here, that I can be better. Just do something different every day. Face the problem. Face those relationship problems. Face those financial problems. Face those health problems. Let's stop acting like they don't exist. Oh yeah, the doctor told me a couple of years ago that I need to pay attention to my blood pressure, but these doctors don't know what they're talking about. And then 5 years later, you're like, yeah, I gotta take these pills because my blood pressure high. Well, I thought they told you 5 years ago that you needed to keep an eye on it. Yeah, well, no, face it. Stop faking like it doesn't exist. You have high blood pressure issues. You have a family history of health issues. So let's start doing something about it. I listen to the Breakfast Club, and I love listening to the Breakfast Club. Shout out to the Breakfast Club. If y'all know people from the Breakfast Club, go ahead and tell them that Miss G always promotes the Breakfast Club, and go ahead and call your girl and get your girl on the line, okay? But I listen to the Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne and DJ Envy always are talking about how they have taken their health into their own hands and are seeing doctors and making sure that they are getting themselves checked and being in a position to prevent or take care of issues that may be existing. And I'm like, yes. Charlamagne talks about mental health all the time. Yes. Guess what? We have to do these things in life. I know it sucks. I know nobody wants to go to the doctor and get all these tests done and they say, hey, this is what's going on. It hurts. You have to process what's going on. But there are so many things that we can do if we know what's going on. For me, I know that I struggle with blood pressure issues. So I have been researching and I have been changing our diet and I have been doing things to take care of that issue instead of saying, well, when it gets to where it gets to, I'll just take the pills when they give them to me. No, I don't want to take those pills. I don't want to have high blood pressure. I just had a whole new baby. My co-star needs me. And so I'm trying to do what I got to do so that I can be healthy for all of my babies, for myself. I want to do what I'm doing. I want to be here for a long time. Now, I can't predict how long I'll be here, but I can do what I need to do to face the problems instead of faking like they don't exist. You have the power to create change.